What is up, you guys? Wavy King here. I do want to apologize in advance if I sound sick. It's because I am really sick right now. But let's get straight into this video. Alright, so first and foremost, I want to talk about the range where Sindel exceeds at. This is kind of the range where she wants to be playing at, you know. Just in range for her forward one, and her down three. You know, this is peak right here. This is where she excels at. She also excels like back here too. You know, she has good zoning with her stuff like this, and cameo too. It makes it even more frustrating for the opponent to get in on you. But up here, she's okay up here. She's not the strongest. She doesn't have like the best staggers on on block, sorry. But here, this is her where she wants to play. So next, let's talk about her strings. A lot of her strings actually leave her at the range that she wants to be playing at. So let's talk about like her 1-1, her 1-1-1 string leaves her right here at -4, but it's pretty decent string. On block, it is -1. 1 is -3 on block, which is, it's okay. That's other characters have better pokes on block like this. Okay, so let's talk about her 2-4 starter string. 2-4-4. This is her plus on block string. 2-4 is +2 on block. The full string is +5 on block, which actually pushes them back pretty far. It's definitely not their turn if they try to dash up on you, and you know, you got to check them. You know, like down 3. Stop them in their tracks trying to dash up on you. So her next string is forward 4-3. You can change the distance of how far it goes. You only really want to do this if you hit them and you want to push them more towards the corner. Yeah, so I usually always do the forward one just to get more distance. Yeah, just to get them further to the corner. So on the corner, if you do this, if you do the normal one, it always will cross up. So when they're in the corner, you always want to hold back when doing the string, you know, after hit confirm, you know, boom, scream. Always hold back so that they stay in the corner. Her other string is back 2-3-2. Back 2-3 for the short one. You know, you get a combo after this. On block, it is not that great, I'm gonna be honest. The full string is -16. You're very punishable after that. Back 2-3 is safe on block, but it can be up blocked, so you gotta be careful for that. It could be very punishable. Do the string. So see, it's -6 on block normally, but with an up block, it doesn't show the frame data, but you see it's punishable. Yeah, see, that's a punish. So you gotta watch for that. I almost never do this string on block. It's scary. It's very risky. And then another very important part of Sindel's game plan is her back 2. It leaves her airborne. I'm sure most of you know this already, but you know, you can cancel back 2 into like an aerial special. So her aerial specials are fireball, air fireball, and levitate. So you can do stuff like this, you know, cancel into air fireball, which is pretty safe. Most characters can't punish that. You know, cancel into levitate and go into a jump in overhead. And I will get into more detail on the levitate cancels later in the guide. So her next string I want to talk about is her forward 1-3. It is -9 on block, but it pushes back pretty far, and there's no gap that can be armored out of this, you know, between the last and second to last hit. So there's no gap, but it can be flawless blocked and made punishable. So on flawless block, I think it's like -12 or 13, something like that. And just forward one alone is -7 on block. Has an 11 frame startup, so it is pretty good. I use this button most of the time in neutral, especially to whiff punish or, you know, just to check the opponent. So most of my combos online do start from forward 1. You know, it is really easy to hit confirm. You know, you have a lot of time. It's a 3 hitting move, and it's pretty easy to hit confirm this. You know, you can even hit confirm with like a cameo. That's easier for you. Oh, and also because it is a high starting move, you will see a lot of you know, people doing this, you know, just trying to spam like down 4s and 3s, you know, because it is high, you know. Yeah, you see a lot of people doing this a lot against Sindel. But you know, to kind of condition them to stop doing that, you know, you gotta check them with your own pokes. And I think that's the purpose of this poke here, down 3. Very long range. You know, you gotta be annoying like this. This is kind of how you play against these people. Alright, the last string I want to talk about is this one, 3-3. It is -6 on block, has a lot of pushback, but I almost never use this string, especially in mid screen, because you're almost never going to be close enough to, you know, connect this. You see the hitbox of this is really short, and you have to be like right in their face for this to connect. So the only time I use this is in the corner, you know, when you're like on top of them like this. And the second hit is an overhead, so you know, you could go for like a cheeky 50-50 there. You know, go for the low hairball, or go for like a low cameo like that. And then Sindel's other buttons, like this one, back 3, I almost never use this. I don't think it's that good. Maybe with like a cameo assist that can, you know, help you combo off of it, or to make it safe on block. But you know, you can't special cancel this, and I mean it does side switch, but that's about it. And then her standing 4, really just a combo ender. It knocks them pretty much full screen. Look at that. You know, you could do something like this, boom, go for this. And then lastly, her sweep. Her sweep is, honestly, it's one of the best sweeps in the game. It's very long range, and you see how she crouches when she does this? She is very low to the ground. The change in her hurt box starts on like frame 2 or something. Like, you can react to projectiles with this and low profile them when punish them with the sweep. It's really good. So let's talk her specials. So she has, you know, fireball, the regular one. She has a low fireball, which is really good to do as like a string ender, a safe string ender. You know, like this. Or you can do forward 1 into low fireball. You know, check your opponent, make sure they're watching their toes. And then, you know, of course, there's her iconic scream. This is her main combo starter tool. You know, you're gonna be starting your most of your combos with this. Yep. And it does have a pretty good range if you want to be cheeky and, you know, kind of check your opponent, make sure they're, you know, if they're just like whiffing stuff, I guess you can use Scream to catch them off guard. I faced Sindel, who was actually using Scream as like an anti-air. I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't think that's really optimal. And I saw her using it a lot, like just in neutral like this. You know, she'll be like spamming fireballs, blah blah blah, and I try to approach, and then she'll use Scream to try to like catch me off guard. But I don't recommend doing this. You know, it's like -1,000,000, and anybody could punish that. It's not a good idea to do that. Just in very rare circumstances. Oh, and of course her EX fireball that uses a meter. It eats up other projectiles that go through it. That would definitely help with winning projectile wars if you guys are both zoning each other out. And then there's her air fireball, which is really good, you know. And you see it actually pushes her back a little bit, you know. And then once your opponent is trying to approach you, you know, like after being annoying, spamming fireballs all the time, you can switch it up and use her EX air fireball, sorry. Her EX air fireball is cancelable into levitate, like that. You know, you can do EX fireball, levitate into another fireball, just to switch it up a little bit, or you can even delay it a little bit, you know, kind of move around, then throw a fireball, or you can cancel into levitate, into jump in, and go for more pressure. But yeah, her EX fireball is really good. You know, it does suck that it costs a meter, but it's really strong that you can do stuff after throwing the fireball. Catch a lot of people off guard. So, and it's also a really important part of her combos. So you can see here, cancel. We're canceling back 2 into EX Fireball, into Levitate, into Jump in 1. I know it sounds like a lot, but I promise you doing it enough times and you'll get it down. Yeah. And then there's her cartwheel move, down forward 4. This is really just a good combo ender, or if you want to be kind of annoying, you can just like poke into overhead. Yeah, don't do that all the time. I've seen a lot of Sindells do this. Don't do this. It's really just once in a while. Alright, next I want to go over her anti-airs. I feel like a lot of opponents like to jump against Sindel for some reason. You know, especially after doing like air fireball, they want to jump, like, or low fireball. They always like to jump. Especially Baraka players or Johnny Cage players. They always jump. I almost guarantee you. So you have to learn how do you punish them? All right. So the anti-air that I like to use is stand 2 most of the time. It's more consistent than the other ones, and but yeah, that's my go-to anti-air. And if you do it at the right time, you can get scream off of it. So like that. So another one is her down 4, low profiles, a lot of jump-ins, you know, like that. Oops. Yeah, like that. That's perfect. So you can also use her stand 1. You know, like that. But I like to use stand 2, it's more consistent for me anyways. And if you have fast reactions, you can always use her back 2. It's pretty solid. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is how you play neutral with this character. You know, I did mention earlier the range that she likes to be playing at, so it's kind of like right here. This is just in range for her forward 1 and her down 3. This is where I feel like she gets the most value from. So for Sindel's archetype, she's not a rushdown character like Johnny Cage. You know, she doesn't have very fast mids. I think her fastest mid is 14 frames. This one, her back 2, yeah, that's 14 frames. Not the fastest, and it has okay range. You see from here it connects. You know, she's more of a character that plays at this range, trying to look for a whiff punish. You know, at this range, not a lot of characters can contest you. Most characters don't have like really long range stuff like this, you know, unless they're playing like Ashura or, you know, characters like that with longer range normals. And you really want to be looking for the whiff punish with this one. You see this button here, forward 1, has a lot of range. So for example, you can do like the 1-1 string, and then backdash, and then whiff punish with, you know, with forward 1 or another button. You know, like I said earlier, a lot of her strings leave a lot of space between you and your opponent. Just enough space for you to whiff punish them if they try to do something like dash up and, you know, press a button. So I've been getting a lot of questions about what's the difference between levitate and, you know, when you amplify it, EX levitate. So with levitate, you have to wait just a couple more frames to actually move or press a button. So let me show you here. See, there's a little delay between levitate and doing the jump in. But then with the amplified version of levitate, you can press a jump in like almost immediately. So let me show you. So yeah, with the normal version, there is a gap. But with the amplified version, there is no gap when you do this, when you do the jump in immediately after levitate. And keep in mind that I am doing jump 1. I am doing jump 1 and not jump 2, which is Her jump 2 is a little slower. I think it's like 2 frames slower. So between the 2 hits of the string, there is a gap which can be armored out of, but it cannot be mashed out of. That is very important to note. Yeah, doing back 2 into levitate and then jump 1 actually jails the opponent to the point where they can't press a button. Alright, so we're gonna set the opponent to press standing 1 after block. And as you can see, you cannot press a button during this gap, 7 frame being the fastest. Aside from Liu Kang's 6 frame jab, which he can actually jab you out of this. So yeah, that matchup is kind of tough for Sindel. But for almost the majority of the cast, yeah, this you cannot mash out of this. The other options your opponent has to get out of is to, you know, obviously armor out of this. Another option is you can cancel levitate and bait it out, so which is something I like to do a lot. If you watch my videos, you see that I do this a lot. So, you know, like that, go for punish. Yep. And of course you can amplify the levitate, which would make the string gapless. Okay, so another way people counter this block string is with up block. So up block will change the frame data and actually make the jump in punishable. So you have to be really careful for that. So, you know, for example, that's a punish. It becomes a game of rock paper scissors. You know, like, will the person up block, or, you know, will the person armor out, or will they just do nothing and block? So, you know, you gotta, or will they try to mash out? So, you know, you gotta switch it up. You know, don't get tunnel vision and keep doing the same block string, because there are counters to it. And yeah, so to counter up blocking during the string, you can fake it out and go for a throw. Because when they up block, they are stuck in animation. They're stuck in this like stance for a little bit, and they can't do anything. So you can throw them and they cannot tech. It is a punish, and the throw actually does more damage. Let's see here. With Kung Lao assist, or with Kung Lao cameo, it does 19%. With other cameos, it can do a little more, like 20%. So yeah, it's a risky game for both players. You know, you're risking a 20% throw. So you can also punish with the low too, since they're stuck in that up block animation. But usually I just go for a throw. You see, you can use levitate to make it look like you're going for a jump in, and, you know, bait your opponent to react to your jump in, but you're actually not jumping in. You know, you're canceling it and jumping back down to the ground, and then you can react with your own punish. So yep, just like that. So to summarize how I play neutral, you know, it's a combination of all those things that I talked about. So, you know, there's fishing for, you know, whiff punishes with this button here. You know, you can switch it up with ending it with a low fireball. You can bait out anti-airs with her levitate here. You want to be annoying as possible with all your fireballs. You know, she has 3 versions of fireballs, you know, and then just mix it up with going for a levitate. Maybe you can be cheeky and just go for a jump in after a levitate. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do in neutral. Don't be scared to be more aggressive. But of course, you can always just zone out and play safe. You know, play over here, and depending on what character you're going against, they might not have a good time. So do what you got to do. So now I want to talk more corner stuff. You know, how do you keep them in the corner? How do you know, pressure them? Of course, Raiden specifically, he always, you know, you always see Raidens do this. You know, I honestly hate that move. That's such a get out of jail free card like that. Ugh, that's so stupid. But anyways, okay. So when your opponent is in the corner, you know, when you're kind of like right here, the same thing that I explained in neutral also applies in the corner. And I also forgot to mention that during this button here, forward 1, Sindel actually takes a step forward. You know, you want to be playing right here, kind of trapping them. You know, make them scared to press a button. You know, and also check them with down 3, you know, make sure they're not moving, you know, you want them to stay there. And you know, also at this range, what I like to do sometimes, you know, you can throw some fireballs, or if you have the meter to spend, you can go for that. You can go for EX fireball into a jump in. It catches people off guard all the time. Yep, just like that. And now you're right in their face with plus frames, so you can be like, yep. And then once you get into the range of like right here, now you can start going for her levitate, her back to levitate pressure, you know, that I explained earlier. And in the corner, it is really scary. It's, you know, it's really messed up. It's really spooky. It's some spooky mix she got. So remember to keep in mind that her normal levitate has a gap between the jump in and back two. So remember, there's a gap, but they cannot mash out of this. So there's only 2 ways for them to get out of this: either to armor out, or to up block, or to play Liu Kang and mash out. So I guess 3 ways, but for most of the characters, only 2 ways to get out of this. And against newer people, you know, you can kind of abuse this, because this is basically an infinite for people who don't know the matchup at all. and who don't know what up blocking is. So yeah, just literally just this string here got me out of like the first few couple ranks. I was just abusing this. Nobody knew how to deal with this. So, you know, use this to your knowledge. And then you can mix in a amplified levitate, so it's really cool. And then go for plus frames. Go for a throw. Yeah, it's really spooky mix, and even I have a hard time blocking this, because I've faced this Indo who was doing this to me too. It's not easy to block. It's really hard to get out of. So if you've seen my gameplay videos, you know that I do this this monstrous pressure in the corner a lot in my videos. You know, after canceling levitate, you can dash up and then do her little uppercut move, you know, to make it look like you're going for a throw, but you're actually going for this. So, you know, you have a lot of options. You know, you have a couple options to juggle around and mix up. You know, and then here, this is also where I like to use her standing 3. You know, and then just add another layer of 50/50s just to mix things up. Or you can stagger it, and it's -3 on block, which is not bad. And then return the pressure. Go for a throw after. Yeah, so you can mix up this whole sequence any way you want, you know, or depending on how your opponent plays. If they like to up block a lot, go for a lot of fakes and condition them to stop up blocking. Or if they like to armor out a lot, you know, you can just levitate drop and block it and then punish them for it. But yeah, just keep mixing it up. Don't get tunnel vision. Yeah, those are my tips for the corner. Alright guys, so the next thing I want to talk about is Oki. You know, like what to do after you end a combo. So here are some pretty basic ways you can end your combos. So usually you're ending your combos with down forward 4. You have a lot of time to do stuff after this, because it is a hard knockdown, so you have a lot of free time to do something. So after this, I like to go for down forward 3, so it reduces the cooldown of the cameo bar. I usually like to go for this and, you know, start being more aggressive with the cameos. I like to use Kung Lao, so, you know, the low hat is really deadly, especially on a low cooldown, or it's already on a low cooldown, but with this, like, you can literally just use this so many times, dude, it's crazy. So this is Kung Lao cameo specific. So usually what I like to do is dash up, hold the hat, and then go for back 2. So, you know, like this, and then go for a 50/50. You know, I either let go of the hat for them to get hit, or go for an overhead first before the hat hits. And you'll see a lot of people who, you know, try to mash. You can counter the mashing by letting go of hat a little early so that it hits meaty, so that they cannot mash, and you do get a combo off of this. So yeah, you can try to mix it up a little bit. Go for the back 2 pressure and go for a 50-50. People are going to be jumping, and the back 2 will catch them jumping, so you know, you can get a combo afterwards when they do jump. And sometimes when the opponent is airborne during a combo, I like to go for forward 4 during it, because the forward 4 actually bounces them on the ground, you know, like a basketball. So, you know, like this. You see that? A little dribble. Sometimes I like to go for, you know, go for that, and you're still plus after doing the buff. So, you know, you have a lot of time to do stuff after forward 4. You know, you could do it like that. Still plus 13, so it is your turn after. Or if you're using a Kung Lao cameo, or maybe a different cameo, maybe you're using Frost with, you know, with the Ice Bomb thing. Yeah, so you can go for little cheeky setups after forward 4 when they're airborne. You know, like that. So usually if I can, I try to go for Scream later in the combo so that I could keep them restood, you know, still standing up, so that you can go for more pressure. So for example, and you see after that I am plus 10, so now we can go for our back 2 pressure that we went over earlier. Yeah, I feel like this is really important for trying to go for Scream later in the combo if you want to go for more Oki, more mix. Another setup I like to use that does not require a cameo assist is this one. So trying to end the combo with back 2-3 and then go for back 2. And then you stay levitating after the 3rd back 2, and you wait for them to get back up and continue your pressure. You know, go back for the overhead, or you can go for a throw. You can go for a shimmy too. Yeah, there's a couple options you can do after this. This is also really good against people who are trigger happy with just waking up armor. So let's set Raiden to armor on wake up. But yeah, that is some basic Oki that I like to use in my online matches. Alright, and for the steal move, down back 4, you know, where she points, this is used only when your opponent is using a cameo move. So for example, like that, you see Cyrax in the back, he is like dizzy. So the normal cameo, what is this move called? Jesus, I don't even know what this move is called. Queen's Command, that's what it's called. Okay, I've just been calling it steal. And you can see here, Raiden's cameo bar is paused for a couple seconds. This is really good against people who rely a lot more on their cameo. So for example, like if someone's using Sub-Zero to counter Sindel's zoning, you know, you can make a read on when they use ice armor to nullify the projectiles. So yeah, so this is really, you really have to do this on a read, you know, unless they're using a really slow cameo move like, I don't know, Frost, Ice Bomb or something. You know, after like the first round and you kind of learn how your opponent plays, you can start going for these. You know, we'll see when they like to use cameos. Maybe they like to throw one projectile, then a cameo. You know, try to go for this after one projectile, see if it catches them. And then also the amplified version, which also has the same frame data, you steal their cameo. So you get to use their cameo for, you have a couple seconds. It's a pretty small window though, so do be careful with this. One thing I almost forgot to talk about is her Fatal Blow.
You see that range? That is, honestly, I think Sindel has one of the best fatal blows in the game. It reaches really far, and it's pretty fast, so you can react to, say, like a projectile. You know, say Raiden's doing this, trying to charge it up, and he a fatal blow, he's made a mistake. He's dead. So, yeah, use this to your advantage, you know. Once you have fatal blow, and you have enough health to take a projectile hit, so yeah, her fatal blow is really good. All right, last but not least, I will show you guys some combos. But first, I want to give thanks to all of you guys, all of my viewers. I really appreciate everyone who has watched my videos. You know, I did not expect to gain so many of you guys in so little time. You know, I really do appreciate everyone who's new, and I especially want to say thank you to those who have stuck around for a long time. You know, I've been making videos since MK11 first came out, which is, I don't know, like 5 years ago. So thank you guys, everybody. Thank you so much. And here are some combos.